So, hey guys, my name is Phil, and I will be talking about genders and sexualities this PowerPoint, and this entire speech was made with the ISGSA, so I want to credit them and everything and thank them, and it wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for them. So, why exactly are we talking about this? Oh, there we go, okay. So why exactly are we talking about this? Because there are many kids out there, many students, many young people who wake up and they're like, and they realize their sexuality and they're like, I'm not comfortable with myself. I am portrayed by the media that I'm not normal. And that the fact that I like the same sex or that I don't feel like a male or a female makes me abnormal. And I'm kind of sick and tired of that feeling that I'm not normal or someone else doesn't feel normal because we aren't accepting of them. And so this is why we're talking about this. I want to educate everybody on on what it means to be in the LGBTQ community. So, plus as society progresses, we have to start becoming more open and more exposed to everything that's going around us. And hopefully I inspire someone who doesn't feel comfortable with themselves right now and realize that there are a lot of people out there that are just like you if you feel like that way. If you feel alone, there's people out there and they're here supporting you. Okay. So this is actually the long version of LGBTQ. So it's LGBTQIAP, that's really long, if you guys know this. And that's why we say just LGBTQ, because like no one can remember this. And there's a plus because the list goes on and on and on because there's so many sexualities out there. And everyone knows lesbian, everyone knows gay, everyone knows bisexual, but do you guys know what intersex means? Do you guys know what pansexual means, demisexual, asexual, aromantic, biromantic, all that stuff? Not really, because media doesn't really show that. So I'm gonna say that gender and sexuality is not black and white. As Ellen DeGeneres says, it's gray and it swims. And what that means is that it's not just black and white. It's not like I'm gay and I only like guys, or if I'm straight and I only like girls. It can be all this other stuff there. That's why we don't have just gay and lesbian, because there's all this stuff out there in between, and that's why it's a spectrum. Their entire spectrum. You don't have black and white. You have all these colors in between, ranging from white to black and everything in between. So, next slide. What exactly is sexual orientation? By Webster defines it as one's preference in sexual partners. What I believe is who you really love. It's who you feel attracted to. It doesn't matter like if it means anything, to be honest. Like your sexual attraction to someone. Can you go on the next slide, please? And this entire thing ranges. It doesn't really mean that you're attracted to someone. What it means, like in asexuality, that is a sexual orientation, even though it means that you're not really attracted to anyone. And pansexuality means you're not attracted to any gender. And that's pretty much the range. And what is pansexuality? Has anybody heard of that? Okay, well, pansexuality means like that you're attracted to all genders. And the reason why I say all genders and not bisexuality, because I know what you guys are thinking, wait, there's only male and female. Pansexuality means that you don't care about someone's gender. They're essentially called gender blind. And what that means is like I'm made like someone not for what they look. I don't like someone because they're a guy or they're a girl. I kind of like them because they have a nice personality, or they have all this interest and like hobbies that I really enjoy about them, and that's what makes me like feel so attracted to them. Not because they have something underneath down there, or yeah. So that's basically what pansexuality means. Can you move on? Okay. So, from asexuality to pansexuality, all that other stuff in between, and we use this word called queer. It's an umbrella term. Does anybody know what umbrella term means? So you guys know what an umbrella is, right? It's like an umbrella. Like it's shield. Hey, I'm hoping this like umbrella really tough. Okay, so like if you're gay, you can stand under my umbrella. If you're lesbian, you can stand under my umbrella too. But if you're gay and you like you have sexual attraction to a girl, you don't know what to call yourself, you can definitely stand under my umbrella. Because there are so many sexualities out there, and some might not even fit like some of the labels out there. So that's why we call it queer. It's not really something you want to call someone because it's still a derogatory term. Like you don't want to, hey, you're queer, hey, you're queer too. Don't say that. That's kind of demeaning, but it's a good way to identify yourself. If you don't really know what you are. Like, if you don't know if you're gay or bi or pan, you can call yourself, hey, I'm queer. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to another subject. What is gender? So if you guys look at medical forms, they'll say sex most of the time. Like, what's your sex? And the reason why it doesn't say gender is because gender is actually what you identify with in your brain. Think of that, gender, brain, sex, what's down there. And the reason why gender is not the same thing as sex. Just remember that. Okay, move on. I'm gonna move on to something that's called cisgender. And it's most people are cisgender, so I'm cisgender, maybe, probably more than 90% of the people here are cisgender. And what cisgender basically means is that you take the gender that you're assigned to. So like, I was born male, I identify myself as male, so I'm cisgender. Maybe you're cisgender, maybe you're cisgender. But yeah. Move on, please. So I'm going to move on to the trans and genderqueer. And the reason why I have an asterisk on the trans is because it's also an umbrella term, just like queer. And what it means to be trans and all this other stuff like transgender, transsexual. If you guys know what the differences between transsexual and transgender mean, it's not the same word. So transgender, remember, it's in your head. So it's more like, I don't feel like a guy, so I'm a transgender male to female. But if I'm transsexual, that means you go undergo that surgery to fix all that stuff down there. So, and this is one subject that a lot of people don't know about, but there's a lot of people out there. I've noticed that around this area especially, so it's called gender fluidity. So I'm going to use this ice cream analogy. So think of like, everyone loves ice cream, right? So like, say I have like chocolate, and then some days I feel like I love chocolate on this day, but the next day I hate chocolate. I want vanilla today, with like chocolate sprinkles, all that good stuff. I hate chocolate right now. But then the next day, I want a swirl, or I want to like have like 2 scoops of vanilla and like a scoop of chocolate. But basically what I'm getting at is, think of chocolate and vanilla like genders. May I say like, well basically what I'm saying is that some days I feel like, if I'm gender fluid, some days I feel like I'm a girl. Some days I feel like I'm a guy. Some days I want to wear like something manly, I don't know. And then some days I feel like wearing a dress. That's basically gender fluidity. If you look, that's actually a guy. And he really works, to be honest. He's wearing a skirt with like some blazer on top. But if his head wasn't cut off, because like it didn't fit on the slide, but he has like a really scruffy beard and like really messed up hair, and it's really manly from like over here. And then he's working it down there. He's working it. Okay. And okay. Okay, sorry. And the reason why there's like a lot of people here, because like I have many friends who are gender fluid. For example, my friend Allison, who I've been talking about her, and I don't have any pictures of her right now because it didn't fit on the slide. But some days she feels like a girl, sometimes she feels like a guy, and I can tell when she feels like a guy because she looks like a different person. Okay, next slide. So, I'm going to talk about non-binary, and non-binary is something that most people don't know about. It means gender neutral, and this is really hard to grasp, especially in the past, like, sorry, especially last month, because there was a crime committed against, a hate crime against a non-binary student. Their name is Sasha Fleischman. If anybody heard about that, maybe you're studying that in your ERWC class. But Sasha Fleischman was, they are non-binary. And they were wearing a skirt on the bus, and someone came up to them and just lit their skirt on fire. And now they have, like, burned, like, from the waist down. All because they were non-binary. And the reason, if you guys hear me, is because when I say they, you guys are really confused by that, is because it's non-binary is gender neutral. And so you never want to call someone it, because that is the most like demeaning thing to say. If you don't know the gender, you don't say, hey, what's its name? That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like you're talking about a person. You're talking about like a toaster. It sounds like you're talking about like a blender. I don't know. Something that's not human, like someone who's an inanimate object. And that's not how we want to treat someone. So that's why we call them they. And this introduces my next thing, PGP. They is a PGP. He, she, all that stuff, they're PGPs. What that means is preferred gender pronoun. And when you meet someone who's trans, you ask for their PGP because you don't know if they, what preferred gender pronoun they use. So like, what's your PGP? I'm a male. What's your PGP? I'm female. What's your PGP? I'm non-binary. And so you can use that to refer to them as they, he, she without confusing them and without misgendering someone. Because the worst thing you can do to someone who's trans is misgender them. And I know that doesn't seem like that bad if you've been like called a girl. Like if, you know like how people come up to you and like, you feel like a girl. That doesn't seem like as bad, right? But imagine if like someone says that every day to you and says like, you're a girl. No, you're a girl. And you feel like you're a guy. Like, for example, if I call you a guy like all the time, every single day. Or if I call you a girl every single day and you keep on denying it, and they keep on denying it and say like, you're a girl. You're not a guy, you're a girl. You're a girl. That kind of gets to you, and that's the worst thing that you can really do to someone who isn't that gendered. So I'm going to conclude this and to say that none of these are labels. None of the things I said, like gay, bisexual, lesbian, none of these are labels, but instead they are guidelines. Because you never stuck to one thing. You never want to have something that puts you aligned to something because you don't know if you're that or not. And you don't want to be confused and try to stick to that even though you don't think you are. But these are guidelines to help you discover who you are and be comfortable with yourself. So I hope I inspired some of you to go out there, become more open-minded to the LGBTQ community, and be comfortable with yourselves. Thank you.